everyone, I'm Ariel Castle.
And I'm James Roden.
And welcome to the very first Trojan TV episode. We will be broadcasting for Trojan TV, which will be shown during advisory. For more information on stories, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
We'll be having some reoccurring segments, while some are going to be specific to certain episodes. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the very first episode of Trojan TV.
All right!
New staffer from Mississippi, Justin Hamilton, is here to talk about how COVID-19 has affected in-person and virtual learners.
As the second semester started, more and more students have gone virtual, whether it is for saving sports careers or for being safe from COVID-19. As far as the most challenging part of virtual, junior Solomon Al-Nimri says, "It is a challenge since you can't feel a part of the class." Senior Devin Taylor doesn't feel the same way when it comes to in-person learning. As he says, the virtual students get more of a crutch when it comes to assignments and tests, since sometimes they can use their notes. Coming back from a long quarantine in March, students have found a way to adapt to a new schedule. Staff member Mr. Rokenbuck said, "Overall, yes. I believe that for a lot of students, they've worked very hard to maintain a strict schedule to achieve their academic goals." Junior Drew Barsich says, "Since coming back to school, the teachers have made it a lot less stressful to give us time to change our routine and get used to everything." As the news has dropped that there was a choice on whether going virtual or in person, some people had their doubts. Staff member Mr. Rokenbuck said, "I wasn't sure if it would be helpful since there wasn't a lot of time. The iPads definitely made it a lot easier for students since they were familiar with the technology." When choosing on whether to be in person or virtual, senior Devin Taylor says, "I wanted to be in person because I knew that I'd procrastinate with everything I'm surrounded by." The same goes for junior Drew Barsich, as he said, "Being in school is more helpful since we have more access to things compared to being at home with just an iPad." In-person learners have seen challenging issues when it comes to virtual learning. Freshman Santiago Escobar, who was a previous virtual learner, said, "It is very difficult sometimes, because if you have to ask a question, you have to go through a whole process instead of simply walking up to the teacher's desk." Junior Naomi Childress said, "Friends have told me that it is hard to learn when the teachers aren't as active." In-person and virtual both have affected students, whether it is about fairness, concentrating, or it being complicated in general. A lot of students would just like to see the change about the problems they spoke out on. Students are hopeful that things will go back to normal and the problems will go away by themselves.
Thanks, Justin. Now to Bree Burbridge for a one-on-one chat with varsity baseball coach John Bogner.
After receiving an unexpected break from his coaching duties due to the cancellation of last year's high school baseball season, Coach Bogner has great hopes for this year's 2020-2021 team.
2 years ago, we were 14-14. We literally gave away 6 games. I keep thinking we should have been 20-8.
It was a disappointing outcome to the spring season back in 2019, but this year is a completely different game.
The key to this year is everybody's going to be playing JV baseball. We have 2 actual returners coming back, Cam Scheidt and Austin Pizer. So they are the only 2 who have any idea what varsity baseball looks like. I mean, they know what I expect. And it's sad to say that sometimes baseball is not fun with me because I am so demanding, and I do take some of the fun out of it because we got to work. What's fun? Winning, right? And in order for us to win, we have to get as much as we can out of our kids. And so I don't tolerate the playing around. Let's get our work done and then we play.
As for what needs to get done, Bogner is reestablishing a few annual goals that seem to have remained unfazed through the ever-changing circumstances of the past year.
You always want to be better than 500, but for the longest point here, there were maybe 3 or 4 years where Highland didn't win 20 baseball games. So the history of Highland baseball kind of puts a lot of pressure on myself, and I put that pressure on us. Our overall goal is always to win the sectional, because in our sectional, if we win it, we could go anywhere. But how do we win? Well, we just make sure we're good, and make sure we're good at what we do.
Now to Anna Crow for her thoughts on Disney's new movie, Soul.
On December 25th, 2020, Soul began streaming only on Disney+, a great gift from Pixar to us. The movie is rated PG and it is directed by Pete Docter. The movie began with the musician Joe Gardner trying to teach a music class that couldn't care less about the musical arts. Soon after the class, his former student Curly finally gave him a gig with the famous musician Dorothea Williams. After some unfortunate events, Joe Gardner dies. A little morbid for a children's movie. Although he dies, it doesn't mean Gardner is giving up on his dream and is still consistently has hope to get back to the living. Watching Gardner struggle with himself and adventure was exciting and frustrating at the same time, but it wasn't for a spunky soul named 22, he would have never had a second chance at life. It was overall a good movie. Some parts were nerve-wracking and made me sad because I thought I knew how the movie was going to end, despite thinking that Pixar surprised me again with a happy ending I didn't expect.
Now let's head on over to James Roten for a student spotlight on junior Preston Walker.
Life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Do, 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 do.
Some of your interests and hobbies.
Well, I play basketball. I play guitar too. I play
Really?
a couple different instruments. Yeah, that's where I like to spend my time on. Other than like video games, like regular teenage boy stuff.
Yeah. So how would you describe your role on the basketball team?
That's a really good question. I just do what I do, help the team win.
What's one of your favorite high school memories so far?
My time with the marching band, that was really cool. Just being in there and being like a whole part of that whole thing, that was really fun.
What's some advice you give to underclassmen about high school?
Really, just make the most of your days in high school. Really, that's what I have to say. I'm still a junior, so I got time. Really in high school for like 4 years, so just make the most out of it,
Yeah. Do you find trying to juggle school, work, basketball, band, do you find that difficult trying to like make time for all of them? Or?
Yeah, it does get pretty difficult, but that's like kind of the fun part of it. I like to be busy a lot, Other than that, yeah, I'd say it gets a little difficult, but it's manageable, So,
How's virtual learning went for you? You've been virtual for a while.
It's going pretty good, I'd say. Definitely makes the whole job, basketball thing, it makes it a lot easier because I don't have to be at school for 7 whole hours,
Yeah. So what is like going like let's go on like band? What do you think that like? What has band done for you? What have you learned?
What have I learned? Well, I've learned a lot about music, obviously, but also like how to practice something effectively, because it's like a whole new skill you're learning, and if you don't know how to like learn properly, you won't get good at it. So that's probably the biggest takeaway I've gotten from band.
Last but not least, Ariel Castle with a story about the upcoming softball season.
I want them to work together. I want them to have fun, and I want to win more games than last year.
So how do you think this season will run with the pandemic?
I think it's going to be very interesting, but if we stay safe, we'll be fine. The girls want to play, I want to play, so we're just going to keep, things clean and just stay safe, and so we can have a season.
So you were one of 3 freshmen that were rostered on the varsity roster last year. So how do you feel that season was taken from you?
I was very sad and upset about it, but it just made me push harder for like this year and seeing what this season brings for me.
What do you think will change from previous years to this year due to the pandemic?
Obviously we'll have to be like a lot more spaced out, and there's a possibility that our season will be shortened, but hopefully we can get in as much as possible.
Being the new varsity coach, what are you most excited about?
Everything. Everything.
Okay. So what are some new rules you're instating?
Hustle. I have more discipline. You're a student first, so that's gonna come first. You gotta get good grades. If you don't, you ain't playing. So, yep.
That's all for this episode.
Thanks for watching. We hope you'll tune in next time.
All right.
Guys, you want more stories like these? Follow us on our Instagram and our Twitter, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Trojan TV. We hope you enjoyed. Now stay tuned for our blooper reel.
Are you good?
You ever heard that song? Is that Elf?
Advisory. For more information, follow us. Why do I do that every time?
Whenever you're good, James.
What? It's in the song.
Okay.
It says something about ravioli, and then the ad lib is
Near Preston Walker.
why do you sound like that?
I'm literally just talking. Do you want me to sound
Bad.
Every time.
But you love her.
Whenever you're ready.
I saw you smile through the pad. Okay. Shh. Now to Anna Crow for her